All right, Shalom. I want to start by saying, HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, KAKADASH. Double honors to the apostles of Israel, aka the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. All right, real quick. So, I wanted to use an article from the Wall Street Journal, but they gay as hell because they also, oh, you gotta have a subscription to finish the article. So, there's plenty of other news platforms that are covering the same issue, and the story goes the same. It says U.S. deploys stealth bombers to Chagos Island. Which is and the same thing as this Diego Garcia military base, which is the same thing. I think that's in what they said, the Indian Ocean area, I believe they said. Hold on one second. Yeah, Indian Ocean. Yup. So basically, they just go to show the third world coming quickly. The Persians are remembering themselves, and they about to go to war again with the Edomites. All right, now this is history repeating itself. So but basically, this goes to show what now Esau's at his end, because now you have, along with the whole thing with this AI, the beast system. What else is part of it? What else is part of the prophecy? The war. The war. They're all gonna go to war. Like this is inevitable. Like it's no like, all right, if now it's getting to the point that people are saying when. And the Lord says it's soon, but the end is not yet, when it's just wars and rumors of wars. So these wars and rumors of wars have to keep festering. But ultimately, the end game is what? All these countries are going to go to nuclear war, including America, Iran, Yemen, Russia, China, all these nations. All these countries are going to go to war with each other because it's prophecy. The Lord said he declared the end from the beginning. These are part of the end signs. These are the things that Yahawashi told the disciples would be happening in the time of the end and upon his return. So let's get into the article. So it said the United States has deployed stealth bombers in the Diego Garcia military base, and a warning to Iran and its rebel proxies. One of those rebel proxies would be Yemen, or the Houthis, who are based in Yemen, and the actual U.S. Navy is fighting right now in the Red Sea. And they've been fighting in the Red Sea since 2023. So this is not like something that just started. That's what the Lord said, wars, which are happening, and rumors of wars. So basically it's going to be wars, and then more rumors of wars, and then ultimately more wars. All right? And it says at least 3 B-2 Spirit bombers have already arrived at the strategic U.S.-UK outpost, according to satellite imagery. Another 4 jets are believed to be on their way, according to unconfirmed open-source intelligence reports. The island puts Iran and Yemen in range of U.S. planes. So what are they saying? They're preparing for war. Why? They said they're preparing. It said they're in range to strike in range of Yemen and Iran, which is to do what? It's not a warm welcome. It's for war. It's for attacks. And mind you, remember the Yemen, Houthis, whatever, they're already attacking in the Red Sea, the U.S. vessels, the naval vessels over there. So it's not like this is just beginning. It's already started. It's just going to keep getting worse. So it said the island puts Iran and Yemen in range of U.S. planes. It says Iranian-backed Houthi militia in Yemen have been attacking Israel and terrorizing dozens of merchant vessels with missiles, drones, and small boat attacks in the Red Sea. Now, what is the significance of the Red Sea? That's where Israel was delivered through from the Egyptians. And where are we in right now? We're in the city that's spiritually Sodom and Egypt. We're in our final and last captivity, our final and last Egypt, our final and last bondage. And it said the group possesses a range of drones, and it said the group possesses a range of drones, anti-ship cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles, either provided by Iran or developed themselves. They basically say, because they're saying that I think even Trump said that any action that the Houthis in Yemen take, they're holding Iran accountable. And that was not too long ago. And you see, since that's been happening, they've been talking lately about more preparing for war with Iran and striking Iran, which is what? Prophecy. This is something I remember from when I first got to the truth, a good, I think it was like 2010, 2011. I remember Apostle Tahar talking about you got to watch out for Iran. This is still a lot with Iran. And at that time, that's 14 years ago, the whole thing, the small hats wanted to go into Iran back then. They wanted to attack Iran back then, but they said they knew they needed America, and America was not down with doing that. But now, look, the spirit that changes. Now you have a president in office that's down with attacking Iran. Remember, Trump said he's all for attacking their nuclear facilities. But the thing about it is, Iran has secret military facilities, nuclear facilities. So you can't just, I mean, it's and it's not in America's favor. That's why they're treading carefully. It says the presence and proximity of the bombers will send a strong message to Iran. See that? The presence and proximity of the bombers will send a strong presence to Iran. Now we go to let's go proximity. I mean, I know that means it means like closeness, but just to get more So we go into the word proximity. It says nearness in place, time, or relation. It says from the French proximite, nearness. It says from Latin proximtum, nominative proximitas, which means nearness, vicinity, nearest, next, most direct, adjoining, figuratively, most recent, next, and you know what I'm saying? So it basically talks about being near. So it says the presence and proximity, so the nearness of the bombers will send a strong message to Iran as tensions continue to run high over the country's support for the Houthis and Tehran's reluctance to enter into talks with Mr. Trump about what? Nuclear weapons. About talks about nuclear weapons. That's been the talk of the town for years already. That's the whole reason why Israel, the small hands, got issues with Iran for their nuclear program, their nuclear developments. And mind you, if that was 2011, we're in 2025, that whole time, they've still been developing nuclear weapons. And remember now, Obama had that deal. I think Obama set that deal in 2015. And when Trump was in office, I believe in 2018, that deal expired and they didn't renew it. So Iran, they ain't been getting the sanctions, or they've been getting more heat from America. But they can't just do that because Iran is with Russia. Iran is backed by China. So this a whole America got a lot on their plate if they want to attack Iran, and they don't have a lot of assistance. And now, and funny, and now you have America at odds with their allies, Canada, Turkey, the EU, all these tariffs. What is that doing for the relationship with America and their allies now? You already got the enemies, and now you're making more enemies out of your allies. But that's also prophecy. It says what? The beast, which is the EU and NATO, shall hate the whore, which is in Revelation the 17th chapter. That's playing out right now too. You got all these last day prophecies playing out as we speak. It's right in front of our eyes. But it's those that see, blessed are those whose eyes see, that see what's happening and know that this is close. And it's going to be but so long, they're going to be going back and forth with these words. And now more action is being taken. Now they're putting bombers, instead they're putting bombers in range of Iran. In range of Iran for what? To attack them. Remember, the Lord said this is a time of war. The third woe coming quickly. Now, let me get that real quick. Oops, New Testament. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 14. I'm going to read the King James and NLT. And the King James says the second woe is past. The second woe being a World War II, which was in 1940-something, 1945, I believe. 1940-something. It said the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. Now remember, this is Revelation 11 chapter. In Revelation the 17th chapter, it talks about the beast hating the whore. That's this same present time. And in the NLT, it says the second terror is past. So we're talking about when people talk about the day of the Lord and the Lord's return, what do you think he's going to do when he gets back? He's not welcoming everybody with open arms. Matter of fact, he's coming to destroy most people. You have a lot of people that's enemies to the Lord, including of our own people, Israel, that the Lord is going to have to tune up before they get in the kingdom. All right? It says, but look, the third terror is coming quick. What? The third world's war. The third war was the third world's war, World War III. You had the EU just tell the 450 million people in that continent, in that region, to stock up on goods, food, for amid the threats. The threats of what? World War III. The threat is out there. It's there, and it's a valid threat. You got everybody. Look, they just put bombers over there. They said it's in proximity to Iran and Yemen. For what? If President Trump would talk about bringing peace, what peace are you bringing? Hold up, but let's get back to the article. So it said that, it said enter talks with Mr. Trump about nuclear weapons. You're talking about Trump with nuclear weapons because what they basically want to denuclearize the world, but yet you can keep your nuclear weapons. But Iran, all these countries like, nah, we gonna keep developing our shit. If you're not gonna denuclearize, why should we? But continuing the article, it says the decisive military action comes after Mr. Trump's cabinet said that Europe was outgunned by the Houthis, drones, and missile stockpiles. And leaked text from the messaging app Signal, Mike Waltz, the U.S. National Security Advisor, said, whether we pull the plug or not today, European navies do not have the capability to defend itself against the type of sophisticated anti-ship cruise missiles and drones the Houthis are now using. Now, hold up. The Houthis is not even a whole country. That's a militia group. And now you got a whole nother thing you're playing with Iran, the actual country. And remember, if Iran is supplying the Houthis, let's say their theories are correct. If the Iranians are supplying the Houthis and whatnot, the Houthis, right? If they're supplying them, you think they're giving them the best shit? They don't know to the best shit for themselves, but they still give them some good shit. And at the end of the day, they're all going to use the same shit anyway. Remember, remember, we got Jeremiah the 50th chapter that's coming to pass. All those that bend the bow. These ancient, these modern arrows and bows is going to be these missiles. And that's what the Lord said, prepare war. Proclaim this among the Gentiles, which the apostles from the GMS on down and the people and preaching the names of Yahawah, BAHASHAM have been talking about for years, man. And now it's coming to fruition. Now it's coming to pass. Now the Lord is doing. And that leaked text, that was the whole thing that happened a couple days ago. It says, the sustained Houthi attacks have disrupted shipping in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden, which are both critical to global trade. Because remember, they've been attacking the commercial ships in the Red Sea, the Houthis. And I think they said anything affiliated with America, the West and EU and whatnot, and the small hats too. So we and it's been, 2 years now? No, excuse me. When October comes, it's going to be officially 2 years. And remember, the Lord said the third woe coming quickly. The third woe coming quickly. So this dude been in office. He talking about bringing peace, but what? They shall say peace and safety, but what? Sudden destruction shall come. And now they're still preparing more for war. Matter of fact, okay, that's the end of the article. Hold up. Oh, no, that's it. It's a little more. Gotta get the banger. Fuck. Joel. I'm gonna read that King James and NLT. They're both good. So Joel chapter 3, verse 9. You know what? I'm gonna read the NLT because the NLT kind of looks a little better. It says, Joel 3 and 9, say to the nations far and wide, get ready for war. What? Get ready for war. And what is America doing? What is Iran doing? What is China doing? What is Russia doing? What is Iraq? What is Yemen? If they're not in war right now, they're preparing for war. So the country is not actually at war right now. They're preparing for war. It says, call out your best warriors. Let all your fighting men advance for the attack. And that's what's happening right now. That's what's happening exactly right now. The nations are preparing for war because the Israelites aren't preparing for war. When a brother said, we don't have a dog in this fight. And when we do have a dog in this fight, all them nations are going to be destroyed because that's our dog in this fight is YAHAWASHI, the one true living God. He said, yo, your weapons of warfare are not carnal. Our thing is just to proclaim this, to speak it. And the Lord does the rest. And we just got to endure all the bullshit of this life beforehand. All right? Verse 10, it says, NLT of Joel, chapter 3, it says, hammer your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Train even your weaklings to be warriors. And in the 10th verse in the King James says, let the weak say that I am strong. And that's what Iran is doing. They say, nah, we good. We going to continue this. North Korea. We told, we ICBMs, all of that. Even these little countries that wasn't worth a damn back in the day, they talking sauce now. And they got the resource, they got the tools to talk this way. And that's why America, Israel is treading carefully about that, because you gotta remember Iran is still linked with Russia and China. Those are two superpowers. And you already had it to where they said America can't even handle a war with China alone right now. And this is Joel chapter 3, verse 11. And I'm reading King James and NLT. It says, assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. And we go into the NLT, it says, come quickly, all you nations everywhere. Gather together in the valley, and now, O Lord, call out your warriors. Verse 12, and King James says, let the heathen be awakened and come into the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the nations round about. Thus saith the Lord, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. That's our dog in the fight. And once that happens, the elect get the power. Because in that time, the elect get delivered out of here, because that's when all the nuclear destruction comes. And that's what they're all preparing for. Preparing for nuclear talks, nuclear weapons, nuclear bombs, bomb this, bomb that. That's what they're getting ready. And this is according to prophecy. What other religious or whatever doctrine, what other religion explains everything that's happening in real time with all the humans? The Lord said all the nations. So all the inhabitants of the earth, all the humans that's on the earth, get ready for war. You heathens. And we go into NLT of Joel chapter 3, verse 12. It says, let the nation be called to arms, nuclear arms. Let them march to the valley of Jehoshaphat. And that's what's happening in that area. It said with their range of Iran and Yemen, they're going more to the Middle East. It says, let them march to the valley of Jehoshaphat. There I, the Lord, will sit to pronounce judgment on them all. And that's where y'all really going, that's when y'all going to realize that you done fucked up. Because all you nations, you had a part in our downfall. You had a part of it. You had, at one part of a time, you had the Israelites in captivity. And in our last captivity under Esau, all you nations were made rich. All you heathens were made rich under Esau's kingdom, which is affliction of the Israelites. So you're all going to get this work. Y'all going to get this work. YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI have pronounced it already, man. It is written. And that was happening. So let's go back to the article. So it says, Mr. Trump cabinet claims that only America has the capability to ensure that the shipping lanes remain open. Mr. Trump ordered a campaign against a group of sinister mobsters and thugs, which has seen dozens of people unalived. It says a military source told the Telegraph that the B-2 stealth jets had been deployed to help protect international shipping lanes, but were unlikely to be involved in carrying out bombing raids. It says cabinet members on the signal conversation said the president had asked that officials determine the costs associated with the attack so they could levy remunerations from their European allies in return for carrying out the strikes. It says, dubbed the ghost of the sky, the B-2 bombers are capable of slipping past the most advanced air defenses and deliver deadly payloads with surgical precision. Because remember, Iran talked about Iran was just boosted up their defense systems. You got a lot of people, they're boosting up the defense system and the offense. It says the aircraft were used as part of the operation targeting hardened underground facilities housing missiles in areas of Houthi-controlled Yemen in October. It says each aircraft can hold 18 tons worth of conventional or nuclear bombs and easily overpower the Houthis. So there go the nuclear bombs again. There go those arms. There go those plowshares into swords. And this is happening real time. This article is from what? March 27th, which was yesterday. And when did they send them over there? So they already deployed them. So I guess they're already en route. I don't know how long it's going to take for them to get there, but they're en route to go over there. And they said within range of Yemen and Iran. So this should get, this is getting more and more intense by the day. And it's not going to stop. This is going to, the war that's going to end all wars is going to include, first off, nuclear destruction to America and basically nuclear destruction on the earth. Nuclear bombs being shot back and forth across continents. And that's why they what? ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. This will take place. And it will take place in this lifetime. The Lord said that in this time, when you see these things, know that the end is nigh. Hold up, speaking of which, might as well get what the man himself said. So this is the book of Matthew chapter 24. I'm reading the NLT. And it says, later Yahawashi sat on the Mount of Olives. His disciples came to him privately and said, tell us when all this happen? What sign will signal your return and the end of the world? But what world is that? This world, Esau's world, because Yahawashi walked the earth in Esau's kingdom during the Roman Empire. So that world, the end of the world. So he thought, yo, what's gonna be the end of this? It says, Yahawashi told them, don't let anyone mislead you. For many will come in my name, claiming I am the Messiah. They will deceive many. And you had many deceived by that, what the guy, well, he's dead now, but he called himself the Comforter. And I think you even had Nate, the dude Nate from the IUIC, say some shit about they said something, the Trinity and all that dumb shit. Talk about he was this, that. Yo, man, you got niggas out here bugging, man. Well, here it is. All you gotta do is, just speak prophecy and wait. But you got everybody want to do, you got these other Israelite groups, they want to do extra shit, man. Want to be all extra. And it's all for vainglory, or 50 lucre's sake, or both. But the true prophets of YAHAWASHI to know the importance of what Yahawashi. This is Yahawashi's show. This is all for Yahawashi. Because when Yahawashi come back, he's going to be the only one that's capable of delivering you out of these set perils that's to come. That's why he is called the Savior. That's why he is the Redeemer. For what he did, when he went on the tree alone, delivered the elect. That's how the elect get delivered. Verse 6 of Matthew chapter 24, and it says, and you will hear of wars. You hearing the wars, right? The Yemen and the U.S. already have odds in the Red Sea. You got Russia, Ukraine at odds. You got the small hats and the Hamas, Houthis, Lebanon, Yemen, everybody. You got some shit happening over there in Hamland. They don't talk about what's going on in Africa. They out there, they at war. So when you hear all these things, it says, and you will hear Matthew 24 and 6, this is Yahawashi speaking. It says, and you will hear wars and threats of wars, but don't panic. Yes, these things must take place. But the end won't follow immediately. So remember, we still got to get to the MOTB. There's still a couple nooks and crannies that got to be ironed out. Mainly the MOTB, actually. Oh, Jacob's trouble. But it's all going to intertwine with each other. So that's why you're hearing these wars and rumors of war. The Lord is mustering the host of the battle. And then on the other side of things, you got the MOT, the beast system they're getting ready for. The whole universal basic income, slashing all these jobs, the grinding ceasing. So these things, it's getting heavy. We're getting to the thick of things. It says, verse 7, it says, nation will go to war against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in many parts of the world. And I believe there was just an earthquake. Where was that? It was just an earthquake somewhere. Bad earthquake. Yeah, where's that earthquake, yo? I think it was one of them Asian countries. It was an earthquake. Damn. Fuck. Was it Vietnam? Hold on 1 sec. If I get that later. Oops. So yeah, read it. So it says okay, I'm back. So it says okay, hold on, there's still more. So it says cabinet members on a signal conversation said the president had asked that officials. Hold up. No, that's not what I was at. Okay, so it says okay, so yeah. So it says some analysts have suggested that the buildup could be a precursor to a strike on Iran itself. The fact that they're sending stealth bombers would suggest that they're intending to operate them against somebody who has their defenses right. Like Iran, Brian Clark, senior fellow at the Hudson Institute, said. It said this is a deliberate kind of move to signal something to Iran, or is because of some anticipated or potential operation against Iran, he added. The launch pad of Diego Garcia in the Chagos Islands, the Indian Ocean territory owned by Britain, but which Sir Keir Starmer wants to hand back to Mauritius, the future of the military base is a key point of contention in the deal to give up the archipelago. As part of Sir Keir's proposed deal, Diego Garcia will be leased back to the UK at a reported annual cost of $90 million, so the US can continue its military operations there. It says the base provides easy access to vital trade routes across Africa. The base provides easy access to vital trade routes across Africa and Asia. Diego Garcia served as a critical logistical hub for the UK-US mission to counter Iraqi aggression against Kuwait in 1990 and 1991, as well as a launch pad for operations against the Taliban and Al-Qaeda during the global war on terror in the 2000s. Despite months of suspension that he would reject the deal, Mr. Trump last month suggested that he would in fact support Sir Keir's plan to hand the Chagos Islands over to Mauritius. Speaking in the Oval Office before the final draft was sent, the U.S. president said leasing the American military base for 140 years was powerful and doesn't sound bad. Like they got 140 years left. It says, however, the deal has not yet been signed. The military buildup indicates that the U.S. still views the outpost as a vital military asset. Mr. Trump has warned of severe consequences for Iran if it does not comply with his request for a new nuclear agreement, including military action. But Iran already said that their nuclear program is non-negotiable. But here it is, you talk about nuclear talks while you're bombing people that's the reason why they're doing this in the first place. The whole thing with the Hamas and in Gaza, the Iranians said they're behind them, because that's why the Houthis are doing what they're doing over there in the Red Sea in support of Hamas. And if America is supporting the small hats, that whole reason for that conflict is the small hats. So now all of a sudden, the whole thing with Iran, all that could be employed to try to attack Iran anyway. You see how they're working? They're playing chess. They're doing all this, but their real target is Iran in the first place. So it says, Iran continues to weigh how to respond to a letter sent by Mr. Trump trying to jumpstart negotiations over Tehran's rapidly advancing nuclear program. It says Tehran has long maintained its program is for peaceful purposes, even as its officials increasingly threaten to pursue the bomb as tensions rise over the fighting in the Middle East. But who's part of the fighting in the Middle East? The small hats? Who is supported by who? America? It says It says U.S. intelligence agencies believe that Iran has yet to begin a weapons program, but has undertaken activities that better position it to produce a nuclear device if it chooses to do so, and they will choose to do so. Thus saith that YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, because the Lord said, "What? I muster in the host of the battle." It says, since Mr. Trump returned to the White House, his administration has consistently said that Iran must be prevented from acquiring nuclear weapons. But here it is, America has nuclear weapons. So why don't you, if you want that trend to start, why don't you lead the forefront? But you're not. It says Stratcom confirmed the deployment to the Wall Street Journal. The Telegraph contacted the agency for comment. An Air Force Global Strike Command spokeswoman said B-2 spare bombers have arrived at Naval Support Facility Diego Garcia. It says U.S. Strategic Command, its components, and subordinate units routinely conduct global operations in coordination with other combatant commands, services, and participating U.S. government agencies to deter, detect, and if necessary, defeat strategic attacks against the United States and its allies. But you're pushing the battle. You're pushing the issue. Iran, Houthis, and all that, they said if you tell Amalek to fucking stop attacking the Hamas and over there in Gaza, that will stop. So obviously there's never going to be a stop, because no one's talking about stopping. Because Amalek said they're going to continue, and America said they're going to continue to support Amalek with the whole thing with Iran, what they want to do with Iran, because Trump is all for what Bibi want to do with Iran. And now look what they're doing. They're preparing for war with Iran now. I'm talking about America, not just Israel. I'm talking about the actual the American military. They're assembling themselves. They're sending shit over there. Shalom, shalom. And it says, to preserve operational security, we do not discuss details about exercise or operations. And that's the article, see? So that's what Joel, like I just read, Joel 3rd chapter. 9th verse to the, 11th, 12th verse. Prepare war, assemble yourselves, bring up the mighty men, beat your plowshares and the swords. That's what they're doing right now. And it's only going to continue until the war actually starts. Remember, they're preparing war. Hold on, let's go into the word prepare. I mean, it's just a simple word to know, but, let's... So prepare, it says, the word prepare verb, mid-15th century says, set in order or readiness for a particular end. And what's going to be the particular end of World War III? It says a back formation from preparation, and in part from Old French prepare, 14th, it said from Latin preparare, it said to make ready beforehand. It said to make ready. So yeah, what? They're making ready for war. That's America too. We're in America. And people talk about, oh, that's not going to happen in our lifetime. So how long do you think they're going to need to prepare for war until they go to war? Because the Lord said wars and rumors of war. So that means that war is already going to be going on. And then more rumors of war. And he said, oh, it might be a thing to attack Iran. Might be this, might be that. But there's going to be that. But the Lord said it has to match the prophecy. The Lord said wars and rumors of war. Because people are saying that they don't want to go to war. Everybody talk about we need to come to an agreement. But yet they're pushing towards more war. Because it's the Lord must earn the host of the battle. Remember, the Lord said what? The heart of the king is in his hands. So that's pretty much it. So, with that, Lord willing is edifying. I want to give all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Israel, aka the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all true sincerity. Shalom, shalom, shalom.